Yeah, now, stand and cheer for your Talking Basketball podcast. Welcome back to this episode. This is the second part of a doubleheader. If you haven't heard the first, go back and listen to it. If you can't be bothered, that's all right. Just keep listening to this one, and hopefully you enjoy it. And don't forget, like and subscribe. I hate it when people say that. That was a great answer,
That
isn't
was
it?
very diplomatic.
It's very diplomatic. We'll
Right,
say
listen.
it for you. We hope everyone uses the same ball. I think that'd be great.
We've talked about balls, but we also mentioned backboards and hoops. And you know, people can actually get hoops now, portable hoops. You don't have to jerry rig stuff these days. You can actually go and buy a hoop and that sort of stuff. What?
Yeah, do you know that? I don't think I've mentioned Net One, have I?
No.
Have I mentioned? No, okay. So yeah, I look after Net One as well. So we do 8 different types of basketball system. Everything from the one that the wall mount that you put on the wall for the player who's just about to start, right through to our Millennium, which is interestingly, we put one on the top of the O2 Arena.
Really?
Blake Bowman, the Leicester Riders. There was a dunk competition. You go online and have a look at it. So that was literally like me getting up. I literally carried a backboard up the side of the O2 Arena, and
What?
Yeah. It was when 777 were in charge, and they wanted us to do a bit of PR. So Joe Edwards, who used to be head of communications over there.
I know the
He's
name.
again a lovely fella, really nice bloke, and so he just got in contact with me. He said, "Look, we want to promote a kind of the playoffs." And so, yeah, he said, "Do you fancy having a crack at putting this backboard on the BBL, on the top of the O2 Arena, rather?" And I'll tell you what, I lost so much sleep with that, I can't tell you, because it was about, we had to get up 4 o'clock in the morning, we had to be off by 11. And if you watch it, the footage is fantastic. It's there's all drones and stuff filming it. So we literally had to site this basketball ring, and what I had about 6 or 7 different ways to attach this basketball ring to the O2 Arena, because it has a grid floor.
Yeah.
So I had to get these bolts which are screwed into the through the surround, and just made sure that it didn't kind of fly away. And thankfully it worked. But yeah, it was.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I had told you about that. I was like, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's amazing. What did it feel like playing out there? I bet it's breezy.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's a great shot. Let me pause that. That's a great shot right there.
Yeah, it was good. It was, as I said, it wasn't my baby. It was Joe Edwards' idea. It was just my idea to kind of logistically make it happen. And as I said, thankfully, it was just lucky that what I took was straps and all sorts of things, because those basketball systems, you fill them with water or sand.
Yeah.
They're like 145 litres. So obviously you can't do that. You can't take 145 litres up the side of the O2 Arena. So as I said, we had to just kind of gerrymander it. But yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good. It's an interesting thing to do. It's like one of them things, isn't it? Like with some goes, you fancy having a crack at this? I don't know about you lads. I've always been, yeah, and then I work out afterwards.
Oh yeah, say yes first. Why not? But that's really cool, because it's nice to see that people can do that. Because I always used to be jealous of watching the films, and you'd see the kids with the yard. They'd have the double garage with the hoop up, and you're like, I live in a flat. Like that was just, yeah, that was my child. Like, yeah, I'm jealous of that. So if I could have had a basketball system, that'd have been amazing. But
by the way, one more thing. I had a chat to the SLB today about a few different things, and they said just to remind people that obviously the trophy takes place on Sunday, January the 26th. It's Bristol versus Newcastle or Leicester, isn't it? Yeah,
Newcastle, Leicester, yeah. Yeah,
Auckland and Caledonia on the other side. As I said, you know what, lads? Obviously, I get tickets for these sorts of things. So, if you'd like to come to the cup final, not this one, maybe the next one, and it's in Nottingham. So come to Nottingham. I'll show you around what we do. And
amazing! Yes, 100%.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you. Very, very gracious.
Definitely amazing.
We will get to see over 500 basketballs. Paul's famous ball pit.
Yeah.
So, Paul, what would you like to see in British basketball? What would you like to see? And I say we can take the Molten hat off. We defame for a bit, and we're not. There's no pointing fingers. It's not a negative thing. We're all about positivity. But what would you like to see?
Yeah, I think I'd love in the fullness of time to see a 20-team league. Obviously, I mean, who wouldn't? I think that would be, and as I said, with a really strong academy program and some, that 11-year-old boy who grew up in Middlesbrough making his way all the way through to play for the first team in the BBL. I mean, that's a proper pathway would be wonderful. And again, that's not criticism of the clubs who are in that by any extent. It's a very difficult thing to put in place. I would also I'd like to see the success of the Women's Super League as well, yes. Which I really love watching it. And I love I like Shanice Beckford-Norton is someone I really admire. I look at the way that she plays the game, and Hannah Robb as someone who's getting puts every last out of sweat on the court. And so I love watching the women's games, and I love watching the Team GB as well. I going across to their games, the women as well. Saw them beat. It was Sweden they beat recently, wasn't it? Or was it Denmark? Denmark, I think they beat recently, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then they lost to Sweden, I think it was. So yeah. So to go back to your original question, yeah, I'd love to see a 20-team league and a coherent pathway from the first bounce of the basketball through to professional status, wherever that looks like.
Because we mentioned the Olympics, and you can't talk about your native basketball and the league in the UK and obviously Super League Ireland. We've only briefly touched on that, but it has actually called Super League as well in Ireland, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I'll tell you what,
to confuse everything.
They do it brilliantly. To be fair, there's an organisation there. They're a dream to deal with. So they have a really good deal with Elbreeze, who are a retailer across in Ireland. They have, I think, 55 stores, and they sell the Basketball Ireland range in every store. So it works brilliantly well in Ireland. Every basketball that's sold in every Basketball Ireland basketball, this one that's sold by Elbreeze, a percentage goes back into the league.
So that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's a real belt and braces kind of operation. Really dead. It's so easy to deal with. It's untrue. Really, they're great. And I've been to a few of their national games. They're the National Basketball Arena in Dublin. They're going to rebuild it soon, actually. But if you get a chance, the roof is unbelievable.
Is that the one with the wooden roof?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that in a picture and I thought, where are they playing? It looks like a kind of like a church almost, where it's big wooden beams and it looks amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Is it geodesic or something like that? I think there's something like that. That's the name of it. But it was honestly, it's amazing. And I'll tell you what, watching them sing the national anthem and that and getting right into it. And I want to watch a national game. It was absolutely brilliant. It was everything you'd want. When you want to say to someone, come watch a basketball game with me and you're going to get it. If you took them to that, you can't help it. You can't help. You could not help but be swept away by it. It's fantastic here. But they're going to rebuild that stadium quite soon.
Oh, really?
I genuinely believe this. And I think when people go and watch basketball games for the first time, they walk away going, especially in certain arenas and stuff like that, they walk away going, that was actually a great experience. I'm going to come back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I hear a lot within the basketball community. That kind of first visit type thing is the sticking point. But once you get people to go, you're absolutely right. As I said to you at the outset, it's a sport that gets under your skin, I think.
So it's an addiction, isn't it? I really think basketball is an addiction.
Oh yeah, 100%. And once you get it, you get it. Like our kids are young and they love it, and we'll look at it and we'll just be excited. I'm going to go watch the game, and we're talking like Division 3 NBL. They're still excited to go watch it.
Sure.
Paul, I will say, if you're in town, if you're down south, give us a shout out and come and watch. I'm going to say it. Screw it. The best NBL Div 3 experience you will have. It's Div 3 and we're getting 450 people watch a game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But literally, we're just copying an NBA game. So when the ball gets brought up, dun, 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 all of that.
Yeah. Whole shebang.
What's that, Paul? What team is that?
That's the Portsmouth Force. Just give me a shout before you come. I'll get you on the door, so you don't need to pay that £5. And
You know what? You know what? I
I'll have
insist
a
on saying. I
I'll
don't.
have
I don't.
I have a seat reserved for you. No, look, here you go. This is an example. People think Div 3 and they go, no way. But look, let me show you this. This is the mascot getting the crowd going. Oh, hang on.
But yeah, we're so big on getting an audience, and
Wow.
There's a mascot.
but yeah, it's that experience that you're having in a game, and just it. Yeah, you're there for the 48 minutes, and you're there for the game. But actually, you know what? I want to watch it. I want to be entertained for
Look,
an
it's
evening, and bring the family.
It is a
and it's
production. That's what I've
Yeah, it
learned,
is, yeah.
because I started doing the announcing, and then I was like helping out. Then we got a mascot, and then it was like, right, let's get bigger speakers. Now let's play in-game sound. Let's have all the jingles. Let's all do this. Now turn the lights out. And we've quickly learned this is a production, and the basketball is this sideshow that's happening. But when it all comes together,
Yeah.
you get 450 people for a Div 3 game. And
Yeah.
I truly believe if people embrace that kind of entertainment up and down the country, basketball would become bigger, and just
Do you know what?
population would grow.
Positive entertainment.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing as well, because it's a bit like when you go to a rugby game and everyone can sit with everyone. It's not about your team, their team. Often it's like, we're here to enjoy a good game. And that's one of the things I love about it, is that everyone can just sit there.
But
and
there's
enjoy
things all over the world you can copy.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And sometimes in England it's very difficult, because we really go by the rules and try not to upset anyone. So as a great example, as the announcer, you have to announce the away team, and you can't be derogatory. I get that. But there's ways to do it to make it entertaining. So, for example, if you go to Australia, they'll do this massive intro for the home team and then turn around and go, and the away team, Brisbane Bullets. That's it. That's all they do. So the way we do it is my voice will be monotone, and starting guard, number 11, Paul Reaney. And then obviously, like I introduced you as start, that's what the home team. So that's kind of way I've got around it. But again, it's entertaining, and all it's doing is making people want to come back and back and back. And again, I've got a soundboard with all the sounds, all the in-game sounds. I'll give it to Basketball England. I'll give it to anyone who wants it. Like exactly what Paul said. We just want the league and everything to get bigger and better, don't we?
It's the second most played team sport in the UK. And
under 18s.
Under 18, yeah, but I think still team sport.
Oh.
Because there's so many local league teams, there's so many divisions, and that's just below NBL and SLB. So many. But people just don't know what it is. There's like a disconnect somewhere. Can't work it out in the UK. Just can't work it out.
Well, I've got a question for Paul. Paul, with the exception of the Molten stress ball and the Back to the Future limited edition, what's the future for Molten?
I think I'm going to, over the course next year or so, look at maybe the design. Looking at a specific range for the SLB. Actually, I had a couple of ideas that I'm toying with. One was to put a QR code on the back of the ball, where people could scan it and they could get like tickets and promotions and things like that. So the actual ball becomes the kind of marketing vehicle. So I'm sort of toying with the idea with that at the moment.
You could see that on a court, someone going, hey, give me that ball, bam. You could see that, couldn't you?
For personal preference, I'd love it if someone could have a ball inflator that would then stop me overinflating it.
We do a gauge. We do a gauge. I'll send
Mark.
you one. As we do a Molten gauge, you can just put it in and see exactly how much it's inflated. I know I'd send you lads a basketball each for having me on, which I promise you I will do. I'll send you one of these 45 50s. You can tell me what you think, and I'll put a gauge in the post as well for you, Mark.
Paul,
the
ball almost dented the ceiling. I bounced it. It's like,
yeah, it was a little bit like, oh, yeah, that's going up there. But
what would you like? Let me put it back to you. What would you like to see a basketball maker create? Have you got any thoughts on what you'd like, or are you quite happy with what you got at the moment?
I as a shooter, I love the idea that you said about the grips, and I've never considered Molten like that. because all the experience I've had with basketball generally is National League basketball, my interaction with the Moltens is limited. And that's why one of the things that I'd love to see is in the UK conform the brand all the way down.
Yeah.
As far as design, let me think.
I genuinely, I prefer that the one that you picked up, that the 45-50 and also the Olympic balls. I think they look absolutely brilliant. I prefer I prefer those to just the plain orange. I know that sounds silly, but I don't know why. I just prefer the paneling.
You know what all the kids like at the moment?
What's that?
All black.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing that's
All
what I did for the SLB, as it goes. I'm making one of those at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it and working out how I'm going to do it.
I don't like those ones where they like I want to say the vinyl one, but it's that one that's it's like super sticky almost.
Okay.
I've seen a couple of those where it's like they're usually for a team or associated to that sort of thing, but they're more novelty than actual ball.
I had to look at a glow in the dark one at one point, but I couldn't kind of get that one up over the line.
You were going back to your days in that gym, weren't you, with that one light? You're thinking, if I had that ball.
You're not wrong.
Well, I mean,
I'll tell you what. Actually, I've got an idea for you, which I told my two mates in the pub, right? And they both said, "Yeah, that's got a market of two people, Paul, you and your son." But I'll put it to you and see what you think.
All right.
So, I was thinking, right? What if you had a basketball which had lots of different things on it, like made a 3-pointer, 3 blocks in a game, MVP, whatever it is, loads of different things that you could do in your life, right?
Stats.
And then every time you do it, you cross it out. So it becomes like it's a basketball is like almost like a record of your achievements in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Or you could even have it that the basketball is a dice, effectively. So wherever you catch the ball, whatever you're looking at on each panel is the drill you've got to do.
Yeah, okay.
So on that panel, you'll get it and you go free throw. So you're like, right, I'm doing a free throw.
I love
Catch that.
I love the
Next
idea
one.
that the basketball can record your. So if I go to
That
a
would
court
give a stat.
and it's going, today you hit 3 threes, you hit 5 free throws. Imagine you shoot 100 free throws and the ball tells the ball. How would the ball? I don't know the technology of it.
No. What it is right? This is the idea. There's a bit more to it. So I was going to call the basketball the oath, right? And so what you do is you get a contract with the ball, which you have to sign, and you promise not to cheat. You say, like, look, you have to be honest with yourself whether you've done these things or not.
Oh, so you're ticking it yourself?
Correct.
Okay.
So you do things like, for example, you've got to say, make 50 free throws with a brick. Remember Chris Mullen made 148 in the NBA in succession.
Yeah.
Remember him?
Oh, wow.
Golden State Warriors.
Yes.
Anyway, so if you said like make 25 free throws in a row with this ball, and you just imagine the practice it would take you to get to that point.
Yeah.
And then when you did it, you could literally pull out your Molten marker pen and scratch it off.
I always see what you're saying, like a graphic on the ball, and you like bam, tick, bam,
So you
tick.
tick off the ball.
Yeah.
Oh,
or you just put a line through it. Just say that's done, and then on the next one, it'd become like if you had 30 of them or 40, etc. As a kid, if you had that ball, then not like you or I, or well, mainly me, but with that raggedy ball that slipped through my hands, I could actually have like a living, breathing record of my kind of development.
Yes.
You would have to be honest, but I like the idea.
I mean, look,
people have to be honest.
I
thought what you actually meant, Paul, was you wear a watch or something or on your phone, and as the ball went through the hoop, it picked up on like the feel of the net or something and went bam, like
okay,
that
so
was a basket made, and you can do that over an evening.
Really,
it says you've got 20 out of 100.
That is super easy to do. You could easily do that, and the way you do it is the way they do it with golf, because they have it with golf tracing at the moment, where you put them. You've probably seen it, and they put an NFC chip on each of the golf clubs.
Yeah.
And then when you take the golf club out, you go back, and it automatically picks up. This is your rangefinder.
Yeah.
So you do the same thing with your phone, because this is what this will all do now. And then you'll be able to shoot round the key with your Molten ball. You pick your ball up, that tags it. As soon as you've got it close to you, you've tagged it in. Take your shot. If you make it,
Mark, we should mute
That
the
would be
podcast
amazing.
now because we're
No.
coming up with a $1 billion idea here.
Just say no.
This is billions. We're talking about a
It's a
basketball.
billion. It's a $1 billion lira idea. Paul, let's be honest.
yeah.
It's that'd be great though. You go to and on your phone, you look at your Molten app and it says this is what you've done.
But
today.
not only will it show you what you've done,
or shot. Sorry, this
it's
is
just showing you where you've shot.
no that well.
It's showing you where you've shot, and you know those stats that you get on the you get.
You would have to tie a watch or a phone into.
But it's NFC. Or you or in the ball, you just have an NFC chip in the ball.
Wow,
It's easy to do.
we've created.
No, just that's a bit of an insight into my job there, then, lads. Like, you know, that sort of thing. Where so I literally go into the next room and go, "What about this?" And then so I work next door at Gun and Moor Cricket. They make cricket bats where.
Yeah.
So I go, "What do you think of this?" And they all look at me and say, "No, that's stupid." So yeah,
But there
that's
we
a
go.
big part of my job, being told it's a stupid idea.
But like, you know, that I think it's funny, isn't it? Because when you look at it, it's kind of a not reinventing the wheel, but you're trying to really refine something that is very refined at this point. So I guess a lot of the things that you look at in particular are material based, because with the advances in materials we get, I will throw it out there to you. I've got a 3D printer sat right behind Paul in the studio at the moment. Everyone knows that there's the airless one. I've had to go build them on myself. That didn't go too well. But that sort of, I mean, you have to respect the fact that someone went, let's try something different.
Yeah, for sure.
Is Molten would they ever consider like an airless ball? Is that something you guys are looking at?
You know what?
They're expensive as well. It's like $3,000 a ball. Is it $3,000 or $4,000 a ball?
It's like 2,500 for the ball. But
You know what?
I've got the material.
In terms of the culture of the organisation,
Yeah.
Molten, they're about kind of repeated quality. So they don't try and change things too much. To be honest with you, they just find something that really works, and the refinements that they make are minute. So that's, you know, I was saying the difference between the 4500 and the 4550. There's many other brands out there who are making balls which have, you know, bells and whistles, etc. But as I said, Molten is about like doing something that works really well, and then just thinking, right, what's the next 1%, what's the next 2%, etc. So rather than creating something which is completely revolutionary, it's just about I don't want to say evolution, not re-evolution, but it's about just pushing things very slightly rather than it's the culture of the organisation. So they do, it's just something that they want, because obviously Molten are a Japanese company, so and with that comes the kind of national culture, which is about small refinements.
Okay, I've got one for you. A proper, genuine thing.
Is this a 1%, 2% change?
No. Well, it is a 1%, 2% change, but it's a genuine thing. It would be great to be able to identify your ball. If there was a way to do it that you could self-identify your own
So at the
ball.
moment, everyone gets their marker pen, writes PG.
Yes.
So what are you saying?
I don't know, but what I'm saying is that is the problem. Because one of the hardest things is when you see 25 molten balls all bouncing around, and then someone's like, "We're looking for one the other week," and it's like, "Has someone gone off with the ball? How have they gone
Are you
off with it?"
saying like personalizable?
Yeah,
Like
but
with proper print?
that's what I'm saying. But obviously, you can't personalize it just by let's stamp it, because that's part of the production process. But have something that's included in, or an area where that's where you put your initial, or that's where you put something, because sometimes people end up putting. I mean, I've got a basketball that says Fury on it from our Saba days, and it's like I've written it like this big, just to make sure no one takes it. But at the same time, it kind of makes the ball look ugly.
Yeah, can you remember Addy colour shoes when you were a kid? I mean, how old are you lads, by the way? Are you younger than me?
Mid-40s.
All right.
I'm saying that.
I'm 10 years older than you. So they had Addy colour shoes. I don't know if you remember them, when you'd colour in the 3 stripes.
Yes, I do remember those.
You got pens in the box with the shoe.
Yep.
And so what you're talking about there, really, you're talking about the idea about almost like having a semi-permanent tattoo on the balls, aren't you? Which would mark out the kind of your own personal artistry on the ball.
Yeah. So there's a way in which, like, there's a logo, there's the thing that you colour in yourself, but the way that you do it, or however you do it, that's your identifier almost. And it can be as simple as like just round the hole where you've got that's where the valve goes in. There's a little logo near there, or you do something around that, because it's just, I don't know. But
I think what you're talking about there, Mark, is something cultural that might kind of blow up rather than it being led by a corporate organisation. I would suggest
possibly.
But that being said, I mean, molten balls are perfect for that. They already have the space on it, and as I said, when it gets into international level to some extent, I mean, you're talking about
that's what I'm
the white
talking about.
part.
That's
where
why I was
everyone
saying
writes their name on the white,
Yeah.
the white square.
That's exactly the
Or
bit I was
sorry,
saying.
they write PG or whatever.
And that
I've
was
got to
the
be
one
honest
I
with
was
you.
thinking.
If I'm doing an advert for Molten, sometimes I have to Photoshop that out painstakingly.
I tell you what, I don't know if this is going to sound really ignorant or not, but
Probably.
if Molten is from Japan,
Yep.
wouldn't it be great to have a ball with, instead of Molten, have the Japanese writing equivalent of Molten?
That would be cool.
Is that a really ignorant thing to say? I'm not sure. Is
No.
like would there be like?
Mate, to your credit, Paul, I've had those conversations too.
Oh, okay. Because I think that would be great.
Yeah.
Because, for example, just off the top of my head, I've got a Jurassic Park T-shirt, but it's a Jurassic Park T-shirt with the Japanese writing on it.
Yeah.
And I think it looks great. You look at it and think, okay, it's Jurassic Park, but
Without knowing Molten, I would say I've dealt with a lot of Japanese companies, and I wouldn't say they are rapid in moving. And there is a process to making decisions.
I think that'd be
that's fair to say.
great. Bit of culture in your basketball, maybe on one
Having
side.
those
That'd be
logos,
great.
having that would look super cool though.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. And I do like the idea, Paul, that you've got the different colours, one for playoffs, one for league, one for cup. I do like that.
Yeah. As I said, it took a while to get to that point, but yeah, there's more of that in the pipeline for Super League basketball. Don't worry about that, because it's something I want to do. So yeah.
And apologies for this question. Again, I might sound really ignorant here, but do Molten have the rights for the next Olympics?
Yeah, the next two. Yeah.
Are you
Yeah,
guys?
so the 2027 and the 2031 are both already penciled. Well, they're pending for the Olympics. The World Cup rather, not the Olympics. World Cup.
So are you designing that now? Those balls.
They've already signed. Yeah, Molten are FIBA's longest-serving partner. They've been ball suppliers since 1982.
Oh, okay.
So they're like the Adidas Tango of world basketball, in terms of football. So, yeah, it's an iconic design which FIBA have no real compulsion to move away from what I can tell.
Okay. So with the Olympics coming up in like 3 years' time, would you guys be looking at that ball? When would you be looking at the design for that?
So Olympics is 2028, isn't it? Whereas the World Cup's 2027. Am I right?
No,
Yeah.
the World. Oh yeah, sorry, the basketball. Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, the we're distributors for Molten rather than we're not owned by them, so to speak.
Yep.
So we would see those designs comparatively late. We wouldn't really have a big say in that. So what happens with that is they'd send us some designs over and say, "Is this something that you'd like to introduce into the UK?" So that would be with enough lead time for people to get hold of it, use it, and enjoy it while those competitions are being played. So we would see it comparatively late in the piece, in all honesty, Paul.
Okay.
It's good to know.
Well, Mark, look, I forgot to warn Paul about this. So
You did forget to warn him, but
we're about to stitch him up.
let's stitch him up.
Sorry, Paul. We always give our guests a heads up. But
Except you, because we
I
felt you didn't need it.
I completely forgot. So Mark's got his 2 questions.
That one shot. It's that one clutch shot. It's the game winner. It's on the line. Who's it go to? You can pick any player, any era.
I mean, there's an obvious answer, but I'm gonna. You know what? I'll tell you, I'm gonna pick a player, right? Who, throughout his career, he proved people wrong, and he spent hours and hours playing on his own, on his backboard outside his dad's house, breaking into gyms later on. I want that pressure. I want that moment. If the put shot is I would not be willing to give it up to anyone else other than myself, because there's nothing like in life in having those pressure moments where you've got to deliver, and it's such a special experience. Now, if you're asking for a player, I mean, there's only really one answer, isn't there? But I'm not gonna say him.
Why not? Why not? You can say whoever you want.
What we do every season, we collate all the results and we have like this little scoreboard tally of what everyone said.
You are only the second person to have ever said themselves as taking.
Is
that
it a
shot.
jump shot?
It's the shot that just happened at that moment.
It is
There is
that.
no, but it's for the
game winner.
Right.
It's
So
for,
let-
it's for
right.
mankind as you know it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you. I'm not gonna say Michael Jordan, right? I'm gonna say someone else who I've seen him play over the last few years, and it reminds me of when Michael Jordan came onto the scene. I thought I did not know a human being could do those sorts of things, and it's made me fall in love with basketball. It's refreshed my love of it, and it's Ja Morant.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I think he transcends basketball in terms of his athleticism. Some of the things he's doing with the basketball is there's two things in sport. There's the physical ability to do it, then there's the imagination and bravery to attempt it, and he's got both of those things.
Yep.
And so I don't care if he misses, because there's something beautiful about the bravery of attempting, about doing something incredible. So I'm going to say Ja Morant.
Yeah.
Nice,
love it,
cool. I love
it.
the fact now he's become such a weapon for going up for doing the posterized dunk, that everyone goes up for that block and then he just puts an amazing spin and lays it up or whatever. And everyone's like, why did he lay it up? And you go, because you're all expecting me to dunk it. And now I've got this in my bag. And then they're going to block that next time. He'll go back to dunking it or he'll go outside. He's just showing them, I've got whatever you want to try and stop me, I'll do something else.
I know there's a lot
Brilliant.
of retired, experienced players who are like, Morant, you need to
Morant and Edwards.
tone it down because you know you're going to get injured
Yeah.
the way you go in. But yeah, I love it.
That's one of the
his
reasons
bravery.
apparently he's trying to do some more layups. Apparently he said in an article recently he gets bumped a lot because he goes up and he's like, when I had my recent injury, it's made me think,
But
I also think about Ja Morant. He is one of those players, and I've never done this with LeBron James, for example, and I have done it with Michael Jordan. So not that we want to get into the GOAT conversation, but
there's only
he's
one.
the type of player who Ja Morant is the one who you pick your phone up, and someone who's never watched basketball before, you go, come here, watch this.
Yeah.
You would never do that with LeBron, because LeBron's LeBron, but he doesn't do those things where you're going, how has he done that? How has he done that? And then Ja Morant is that person. I feel the same way about Kyrie Irving, by the way, to some extent. But yeah.
Dallas Mavs, amazing.
When Morant first started doing that, it reminded me a little bit really early in his career of Derrick Rose as well. He was very explosive with what he was doing.
Yeah, 100%.
I watched a program when I was recently in the States, and they were talking about the science behind people like Duran and like Derrick Rose driving in, and the pressure that's on their knees and the pressure that's on their body, and it was going into all the science of them going up, and then someone trying to stop that, what they kind of the power they need to be putting on that ball and stuff. It was great. It was so interesting.
There's another one like that someone did with Usain Bolt. Highly recommend it. And it's talking about how they designed his shoes and the power that he puts through his foot, why he's so long. And they're like, why is it that it's all down to that? And it's unbelievable. Like they're saying the pressure through that is, no one's going to generate that.
Well, that's a great answer.
But
Morant and Reaney
Morant and Reaney.
are shooting for the fate of mankind.
Not me.
Listen,
I want to scratch that. I'm not me.
So what we're saying is, what was your favourite shot, Paul? What's your favourite shot? What's the one that you'd be like, that's the one?
I mean, Jordan against Cleveland's the one in it. It's like amazing. But you're about my personal.
Your personal shot. What would be what is the shot?
Where's
that you'd
your
be
go-to
taking?
shot?
Where is your go-to shot?
Oh, I mean, I remember I was playing once for the university, and I did a buzzer beater where the bloke tried to what do you call that? Submarine me underneath, like when I take the 3-pointer, and he fouled me at the same time. And I remember making it, and I remember everyone jumping on me, and that was that's the one that sticks in my memory of my entire life. What can laughingly be called a career. But that's so that it would be a 3-pointer buzzer beater with someone trying to injure me as I'm taking it.
Amazing.
Still make.
Amazing. I like that. That's a good clutch. Right. The
This
second
is
part
the
of
one
this.
that's going to blow Paul's mind. Paul, you can take as long as you want for this. Some people have.
You got to pick your all-time 5.
Oh wow.
You got to pick your
Okay.
all-time
You
5.
can see why we prepare people for this now, because sometimes
We've had a few messages. We're like, "Can I change it?" It's like it's going out.
it's
No.
already gone out. Like,
I'm like, oh, can you edit it and not put that over the top? No, I'm not.
it's actually a really hard question. I'm sorry, I'm deliberately doing this to give Paul a little bit of time, but it's actually a really difficult question.
While Paul's thinking of that, I've got something. He mentioned GOAT earlier, and I've changed my answer on the GOAT a little bit.
If you what?
I'm now, it's not sitting on the fence, but everyone's got their own GOAT. Michael Jordan had his GOATs. Kobe had his GOAT. We had our GOATs. LeBron had his. Everyone has a GOAT. Gary Payton had a GOAT. John Stockton had a GOAT. Everyone has someone who is their GOAT and inspired them. But Jordan is the blueprint of a basketball player.
Oh, that's a nice way to say it.
And because it is like, it doesn't matter, like whatever, like no one's going to get those accolades off LeBron very quickly. No one. There's all these stats that are out there for years and years. They're going to take ages to break. Stockton with 15,000 assists and stuff. That's crazy numbers. But Jordan's is that blueprint of the modern. All these Morants, everyone, they all go back to Jordan. It's the athleticism, the defensive. There's a really cool clip somewhere on the web, and I'll have to find it. But someone mentions what player's done this. There's 4 players. There's 4 names. And they've done defensive player of the year, offensive player, all that. All 4 of them are Jordan. It's the only person in history who's done it. And you're like, that's the blueprint.
Yeah, and I also think that if there was a time machine and someone took Michael Jordan and said, like, now here's all the stats,
Yeah.
and you can now go back to 98 at the
Yep.
end of the season, I reckon he'd be like, I'm getting 40.
Maybe. But this is my thing with Jordan. He's the only person in history that you want on your team because you don't want him on the other team. And that's the only reason. It's not because you go, yeah, he's going to do this or do that. It's like, but if he's against me, I'm toast. He's the only player
I've
who
got
says
my
that.
5.
He's got the 5.
We've given him we gave Paul enough time
That's
to think
good.
about that then.
Right. I'm going to go a bit off piste here
Love it.
because I love naughty teams.
Ooh.
And so,
nice.
like, I love Detroit, and then
Yes, Paul,
so I'm
yes. The bad
gonna have,
boys.
so I'm going to have my bad boys 5.
Yes.
Go lame
So I'm going to go. Lambeer.
Lame
Centre.
bear.
Bill Lane Beer. Paul, me and you are
Or would
the
you go
only
with a power
people.
forward? Would you say he's more of a power forward or a centre?
Either. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe power forward.
He'd be power forward these days.
Paul, me and you are the only 2 people in the world who have put him on this show, Bill Lane Beer, in our all-time 5.
Yeah. So I'm going to go. I'm going to have Reggie Miller
Yes. Yes. Happy with
because he
that.
was the only one that he really got under Jordan's skin as
He
well.
did
like,
it
and
when he
that's
grabbed
something
his
to do.
throat. Was it his throat or his face? I can't remember.
Yeah.
And the push off, of course.
I'm going to have Isaiah Thomas as my point guard, and again, it's not a player that I particularly like, but the whole walking off thing, he's just so naughty that I've got to have him in.
He's a talented man.
He
Paul-
is. He's
Paul,
a great player,
I've-
and really able to control it. So we've got Isaiah Thomas, Reggie Miller,
Paul,
Lambert.
I got to say to you, did you know? I don't know if you've seen. There's a thing called ESPN 30 for 30, the Bad Boys. Have you ever seen
Yeah.
that?
I don't know.
Check it out. There's a bit
Brilliant.
right at the end where they talk about the walk off, and I think it's the first time Isaiah actually turns around and he says he won't say whose idea it was, and it was actually Bill Lane Beer's idea, and everyone blamed Isaiah.
Yeah.
And Isaiah never turned around and said, "Yeah, that was Bill. It was Lane Beer." He just
Is
said,
that right?
"Yeah." And when you listened to it, you went, "Whoa, that was Bill Lane
Yeah,
Beer's
it's cool.
idea," and he's never said that until like 40 years later, and he's had all that hostility and
Yeah, opprobrium.
yeah.
I mean, if you're trying to think of inspired bad boys, there's a jersey floating just above.
No,
Paul's
don't
head.
influence,
Just
Mark.
saying.
Don't influence.
What is it? It's not Rodman, is it? Have you got? I mean, obviously Rodman's. It's too easy, isn't it, Rodman?
No,
I
it's
want
not
one
easy.
a little bit more kind of a little bit more off piste.
East, blimey.
I think who else was the scrappers at that time? I mean, to be fair, Larry Bird could look after himself. I mean, and you know what? I love Larry Bird, but I've got to say, I think he's quite an unlikable fellow in many ways.
That was that's the remit, though, wasn't it? That was his remit, was that he would just got under everyone's skin.
Larry had the entire Philadelphia 76ers trying to punch him in the face in one game.
I mean,
That one?
do you know what? We haven't talked about Dr. J. Like, I mean, how can you leave Dr. J out with 5?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like the coolest player ever. But then you got Charles Barkley for a season or two was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Lambier. Lambier's locked in because, as I said, he's horrible. Reggie Miller is. You've kind of put me off Isaiah Thomas, but I'm going to keep him in. And then, so I'm thinking about Robert Parrish because he's got those elbows that are just like going to take your head off. So I've got to have a Boston Celtics because Boston Celtics is my kind of team, really. So I'm going to have put it in the basket, Chief. I'm going to have Robert Parrish.
Nice.
And have someone. I'll tell you what. Let's have someone really cool who's thinking, why am I playing on this team? I was going to say Dominic Wilkins, but he's too big. I want someone a bit more kind of, I could say Clyde Drexler, I suppose, but he's a bit meek, isn't he?
Clyde's not nice and not nasty enough.
No, he's too, as I said, he was too meek. What about Xavier McDaniel? He was a bit tasty, wasn't he? The X-Man?
McDaniel, yeah.
Hang on, let's have a think. Oh, I'll tell you what, let's have Blake Griffin. Is that his name?
Blake
Griffin.
Yeah,
Blake will do a
there
job.
we go. That's my kind of bad boys, my bad boys 5. So absolutely horrendous to play against. You wouldn't go anywhere near them in the paint, and it would be because I did think about swapping out John Stockton for Isaiah Thomas, but we'll have Isaiah Thomas leading the conductor of the NBA bad boys. That's my fault.
Imagine Reggie Miller and Isaiah.
Listen, here's the thing. This is 5 and Pine, so you've got to put one
There's
there's one on the bench as well.
Who's on the bench?
So
right.
You've got your 5.
It's called 5 and Pine.
So you can get your Stockton if you want. You can have Stockton as a
What, someone who just like refuses to play because it just is so nice.
You know what? I don't think Stockton was nice. I think he was.
You think he's got a little bit of the cold eyes of a killer?
If you listen to when people talk about him, every single player is like he was. Like people would flatten him, and he'd get up and go, "Nice pick." He was he was absolutely solid, and he was ruthless.
Talking about famous people and the pressure and the attention. There's a great documentary about the '92 Olympics when you had the Dream Team, and they're stuck in traffic on the bus, and John Stockton just gets off the bus and walks down this high street. No one even looks. And I can't remember who it is. It might be Charles Barkley or Patrick Ewing. Someone turns around and goes, I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah. He'd turn up in it, he'd turn up in a minivan, wouldn't he?
I think he just puts a hood up or puts a cap on or something like that. Just walks down the street.
Amazing.
No one even looks.
I've got my Pine.
Who's your Pine?
My Pine is someone who I can't decide whether he's a bad boy or a pacifist or what he is. He's an enigma. And that's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Kareem's
a good one.
So obviously he's got to be in because of Game of Death, hasn't he?
No,
the Bruce Lee film where he fights Bruce Lee.
Yep.
Yeah.
He could do a little bit of that.
He was taught by Bruce Lee for a bit, wasn't he? He was taught karate by him. Yeah. I think that's how he got into it. But
can you read them back? Can you read them back to me a second?
This is it now.
You got Bill Laimbeer, Reggie Miller, Isaiah Thomas, Robert Parrish, Blake Griffin, and sat on the bench is one of the greatest players of all time, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Can I make one change?
Yeah.
Right, I'm bringing Kareem on for Robert Parrish. Right, so I'm going to have a different one on the bench. Let me have a very quick think.
We're gonna get a message from Paul.
Yeah, later.
Tomorrow. Guys, hang on. We need to change this up.
Yeah, I mean, there's.
So I had a T-shirt when I was in the 90s, and it was when Detroit had It was the Dennis Rodman. Was he the Worm? Who was the other one?
Dennis was
The
the
Worm.
worm. Yeah. Then you had John Spider Sally.
It's John Sally.
That's
Yeah.
him, John Sally. That's my other one. So the Spider and the Worm. So I had a T-shirt when I was a kid, the Spider and the Worm. And you know what? I was probably the only person within a radius of about 50 miles who knew what it meant.
We met John Sally when we were
You met him,
when we were
didn't
little.
you? I wasn't
You-
there.
What?
No, I wasn't there.
Oh,
I wasn't there. I
he was
wasn't
yeah, he's a really nice guy. Really, really nice guy.
Are you trying to put me off him again?
there. He was lovely.
He was
couldn't be
deadly
kind
mean.
enough.
He was deadly mean, but to everyone who went that day, he was very nice. Dennis Rodman was supposed to be there as well, and he didn't turn up. He found some company and didn't turn up. But John Spider Sally turned up.
Yeah.
So my idea is to take my 5 and pint and drop them into next season's Super League basketball. Okay.
Oh. What at the age that 40 years ago or now? Because
No, I mean, both would be good.
That would
I'll
be
still
amazing.
go and watch.
Yeah. I think they'd still.
Like Kareem, he was a mean guy. Like he wouldn't have no problems throwing a punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was, I can't remember that there was one game. I think was he at the Bucks or the Lakers when this happened? But someone just elbowed him. I think it was in the ribs maybe, and he just turned around, whack, actually clocked the guy. But yeah, Kareem, great one.
Yeah,
That's
Kareem's.
You know
Kareem's
what? There's-
Guarantee tomorrow. Guarantee Paul's going to wake up and go, I've left this person. I've left this
What about this
Mason
guy?
out.
You know what, Mark?
I've
I
left
live
Charles
most of my
Oakley.
life-
I've left Oakley out. Oh no. But
You know what, Mark? I live most of my life with this feeling of regret. That'd be nothing new.
You know what? The two players that stand out is Bill Laimbeer and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because you have the history between those two guys. That phantom shot. Can you remember that?
Yes.
Kareem doing that hook shot. Bill Laimbeer jumping up miles of space. Like this was game 6 of the NBA Finals. The ref calls the foul, and everyone's looking, going, "What happened there?" And they always say they called that foul not because that was a foul, because of all the things that Bill Laimbeer did before that moment to get that foul. But
the other ones,
if they didn't call that and that didn't go in, because it didn't go in.
No. The Lakers would have won.
Detroit would have won their first championship. And then the question goes, would they have done a three-peat? I don't know.
You know what? You know the reason why I would hate to play against Bill Laimbeer? He'd sweat on you,
Yeah.
wouldn't he? He'd be one of those players who's massive, and you'd go near him, and all your t-shirt would be wet because you'd stood next to him.
Yeah.
No.
While he was abusing you and then trying to hit you in the back of the head.
Those
as
are the
well.
worst players as well, isn't it? Where you just go, oh, my whole arm is like just wet.
Yeah. Like
Yeah, well, you decided to try and post up, Paul. It's your own fault.
Yeah, I mean, like, you see them, don't you? Like Rasheed Wallace or Ben Wallace and stuff. Like you see those big guys and they're massive, and you think, yeah, anyone coming near them, they're hitting a massive solid wall, and they're just going to get dripped on straight away.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Well, there we go. Look, Paul, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh, my pleasure, lads.
I could talk basketballs with you all day.
Yeah, that's. Do you know what? It's funny, even just going from the 8-panel, 12-panel, and the grooves. That's still blowing my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's fascinating. Like, everyone, go check your balls, go look at them, have a little play.
I've been waiting for that.
Yeah,
How long
I
has
was
it been?
sitting on it for
2
a while.
hours. I've been waiting for that to come out.
But no, seriously though, it's such a key component of the game, but people don't really, maybe give it the credit it deserves.
Well, like people know, that now. It's I think it's interesting. So, as I said, thanks for giving me the platform to let people know the stories. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
No.
And also, we've got to highlight once more, you can, and Paul's not asked me to say this at all, but you can get a piece, I mean, let's put it like that, a piece of BBL history at this moment by going on Amazon. What are we searching for, Paul? Molten, BBL.
Yeah, they go on the Molten store. It's the BG 4550. But yeah, there's as I said, they're limited edition. They'll run out in
That's
due course,
history.
but,
That is absolute
It's
history.
UK basketball history. It's just simple as that.
Like,
I'd be super interested in to see what people think about the design as well. So I'm always interested to speak to people about their experiences with Molten products. But there we are.
well, there you go. So if you check out those basketballs on the Molten website or on Amazon, email ukbasketballpodcast@gmail.com
Yep.
and we will forward that to Paul.
Yeah, if you have any ideas or any of that sort of stuff, get in touch with us and we'll pass
Yeah,
it
for
along.
sure. Yeah, I'll talk to anyone about basketball. It's always interesting. So yeah.
I got another one. A basketball that plays music as you're playing. Just like a speaker
yeah.
inside.
Yeah. Okay.
A vegan basketball. How about that, Paul? Would you like that?
No. Right. There we go.
And so ends another edition of Talking Basketball Podcast. Paul, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so, so much.
My pleasure too.
And we will have more interviews like this, plenty coming up. And there's going to be plenty of BBL or SLB rather action where you can go see these Molten balls and lots of other lovely things coming up in the future. But for now, thank you, Paul. And I've been Mark.
I have been Paul, and we've had the legend Paul Reaney on from Molten telling us all about the amazing work, design work, everything they're doing at Molten. What a great episode that was, Mark.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
You don't do anything for badminton, do you?
Not yet, but I'm open to
No,
ideas.
no,
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 no.
Say no, Paul. Say no.